Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, I wanted to talk about some thoughts about how to buff Erede, Robb, and Mashari. In a previous livestream for War of the Visions JP, they talked about giving buffs to older units, specifically those three. And I forgot to mention this in my first anniversary predictions video. I hope the buffs for these three characters come then, but I don't expect it. But to commemorate my getting Mashari to Limit Break 5, and then both Robb and Erede to Limit Break 4, I thought it would be fun to think about how they could buff these units. And I have not reviewed these units so far, so this video here will essentially be my de facto reviews, but when the buffs come, maybe I'll do proper reviews, one for each of them at that time. And for the record, I like these units, but then I like every unit. Robb is legitimately useful now because light element slash and pierce attackers have a lot of high difficulty content aimed at them, and Robb is one of the few non-limited units that can do either. And I'm using him right now for the current raid going on in JP. I put him at the near the top of my best investments, and I still feel that way today. Erede is powerful and tanky. Lancer is an underrated job. It's not nearly as good as Valkyrie, but it's still usable. And then for both Samurai and Lancer, you want to take advantage of critical, and most people don't. Mashari is kind of halfway there in all aspects, so she does still need a lot of help. Robb, I feel like, is good enough that he doesn't need giant buffs. His biggest problem is a PR problem. But now, since he is a candidate for evade builds or teams, I would say with the buffs push him even farther in that direction. You could take his 5 evade from his master ability, raise it to 20, put him on a level with Shadowlings, why not? This wouldn't make him overpowered, and would give him a usable niche. And then he does have the Soldier sub-job, but he doesn't have the two best attacks, Hazard Break or Drain Force. If they could give him additional nodes, or maybe change out some existing nodes to those, that would really improve the unit. That's a big opportunity there. He would also be the first light unit with Drain Force. And also, of course, as an attacker, if they could give him Slayers or Penetration or something, that would really help him. Erede is kind of the trickiest one to think about of these three, because although he's powerful, he doesn't have a focus, really. He does good damage, but it can be tough for him to connect. He has some team support stuff with his Limit Break and Trustmaster, but pretty much everything else about him is for attacking. And like when thinking about what does he counter or who is he good against, it's kind of no one really. He does have some slash resistance, so that is maybe a hint to build him that way and go hunting in arena, but that's a narrow use case. Maybe his Limit Break is another hint. That raises his hate. Maybe if in his master ability you could give him some more hate like Mariaru, that might make him an interesting decoy. And one of his problems is getting in range, so if you draw opponents to him, rather than him getting in range to other people, that might make him easier to use. And then he has a decent survivability now. He has pretty good HP, but if you buff his evade, or defense, or HP, or attack resistances, suddenly you could make him a tank, or at least a bruiser. I would say buff all of his physical resistances into the positives, why not? Then he could get in close, take a hit, and then he can do his great damage. And of course for him too, Slayers or defense penetration or pierce resistance penetration would help his attacks. And then finally is Mashari, and I have seen some impressive Masharis in PvP and JP, specifically as like an unkillable magic attacker with auto-cure. It's like if you can't one-punch her, she will restore her HP almost to full life, so she has a lot of staying power. And she's also good for PvE, again as a magic attacker, but she needs help, and a lot of that comes from her cleric and monk jobs. These are not great jobs in the game, and it raises the question, do you buff the skills in those jobs across the board and make all clerics and monks better, or do you give just Mashari buffs that would apply only to her, like with her master ability or her stats or Limit Break? I would love game-wide buffs to cleric and monk skills, but for the sake of this video, let's just stick to Mashari buffs. Anyway, I said that she was halfway there in every aspect, but as a healer, she's more like 20% there. She kind of sucks as a healer. There was potential with the Monk job, but she didn't get the majority of Monk support actions. No Chakra, no Esuna. And so with the buffs, I hope they emphasize her offense, which I think is the best way to play her now. Her Banishga and stuff are great, but I would love to see her physical attacks get buffed. Maybe take her attack value and then maybe triple it, and then give her a bunch of strike attack up, make us want to use her monk attacks and clear strike attacks, because the image of her swinging her mace around is very cool. I want her to be a strong heroine like Gurasira. And so if she had access to both magic attacks and strike attacks at the same time, that would be fun and versatile. And I would also like to see her magic resist and spirit buffed up. Make her like a magic user hunter. The strike attacks would be great against them. And then if you wanted to improve her healing, maybe you could change her Black Mage to Red Mage. And then that way you could keep the Banishga and stuff, but pick up like Cura and Esuna maybe. I think that would really help her out. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about those buffs. I mean, I already like these characters. People say that they are no good. I wonder how many of them have actually gotten them to like level 79 and actually tried them out. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video, a short one today. Probably the next video I do will be a recap of the live stream going on tomorrow. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.